Today is July 27th, 2025. This would have been the former Copco Lake. This is where the access launch area is. I just did a video from down there. That is now open to the public. I didn't see anything that says you couldn't enter around that bend. It would be the entrance towards Canyon. Thought I'd just kind of show you what everything is looking like from here. And off in the distance, we'll head that direction. But you can see that there's some equipment over there. That would be over towards Beaver Creek. So we'll make our way slowly that way. Can definitely start to see some more of the gravel benches. Like I said, I just did a video down in that area. That's where the boat launch site is, or the access point is. So I'm gonna pause it and gonna head on down the road. So we're getting closer to kind of Beaver Creek. That direction would be where the boat launch area is. This is a plateau. I'm not sure what this little drainage is. You can see the green that runs through there. If you look off in the distance, it looks like we're getting some thunder clouds building again. We've had thunderstorms off and on in this whole region all week. So I'm kind of wondering if we're going to get some more thunderstorms today. When you look, it looks like that's a little animal trail that goes out through there. Maybe they're going off to water. Not sure, like I said, what this drainage is. Beaver Creek is the next one over. You can see that they got equipment still out over there. That's where they were bringing that slash from College of the Siskiyous. That's down in Weed. And this would be the Beaver Creek drainage that we're looking at now. This would be the Beaver Creek drainage. Gonna go ahead and pause it. Yep. This would be Beaver Creek. Gonna pause it. So this is up the Beaver Creek drainage. This is towards the head of it. We can see that they brought some equipment in here and they're working at this section here. I believe this is the area that we walked down into the last time, one of the last times I was up here. So it looks like they are smoothing out this section. I don't know if what they're gonna do at the creek itself, but I guess time will tell. I can see there's one dump truck here, the excavator, the dozer, and then if you look up in the trees, there's at least another dump truck, maybe another excavator or two. We'll find out as we make our way around. So it looks like they're doing some work back up in here. We could see some mounds of dirt behind us as we passed them. So they're working on the sides here. Be curious to see what it looks like up here, in here further. So I'll pause it for a second. So we're making our way to the head of Beaver Creek. You can see that they're doing some work in here. I'm not quite sure what they're doing with those slabs over there, but you can see Beaver Creek's right next to it. You can see that they brought some of that wood debris up here. Those almost look like fresher timbers than what they've been bringing in. But they're definitely widening all of this out. You can see where they're digging it all up and out. You can see down in there where the dirt is actually moist and wet. So it definitely looks like they're doing some work up in here and definitely moving a lot of dirt up here as well. But you can definitely see that Beaver Creek is still somewhat flowing. I can see all the water down in there. I'll zoom in so you can see it. So it is still flowing. So we just come around the head of Beaver Creek where it comes into where Copco used to be. You can see since they're doing work in here that they've got those net things across the creek up there. It is still flowing. We can see it's flowing. This is what it's looking like right here. And then I'm gonna try to pan through the trees. This is the work area. This is what I was just looking at on the other side. So you can see that they got these wood beams right here. And then they got the timbers that they brought in. And so they're definitely doing a lot of work right here. And I'm not sure what they're doing with those that they have sticking up. Maybe it's securing that, I'd say securing that wood that goes across, but it doesn't look like it. So I'm not sure what they're doing with those timbers. But this is kind of what Beaver Creek is looking like right here. I'll see if I can get a better shot around these trees. So I just walked down the side. I'm not going to go down into the work zone. There's nothing up here that says no trespassing. I have not seen any signs. So this is what it's looking like up creek. And I'm not sure what they're going to do with those wooden trestles. Maybe make a bridge, I don't know. Maybe put their heavy equipment on. You can see that they're widening out that area down there, so it's going to be interesting to see which way the creek goes. So I'm going to go ahead and pause it. So we came up the road just a little bit. So that's right below like where the wood stuff that we were seeing. That's kind of, I don't know if you can really tell, there's kind of like the dirt mound that's right there, and then just off on the other side is the drop off where they've been working. So they've been scooping out the bottom more. It's kind of hard to tell on the camera what it looks like. But there is kind of like a cliff bench right there, and it goes down into the creek. You can kind of see it right there. Anyways, lots of work being done up here as well. Even over off on the other side. So I'm gonna pause it. So you can see that this is where their other work site is. You got the equipment down there in the bottom. That's what we saw earlier. So that's where the work's being done. And this is kind of what the rest of Beaver Creek is looking like. So we're kind of coming out of the Beaver Creek drainage. This is where it continues on down. That would be looking towards the west end of what used to be Copco. It's like down there, you can kind of see the access road coming down. And that would be the entrance towards Canyon. Right there, sorry if it's a little shaky. Oh. So that's where the work crew is going, but I do notice something new is this fence. This fence was not here a few weeks ago. And all that slash down there is part of what they brought in from College of the Siskiyous. So this is what things are looking like here. If you do look down in the lake bed, you can see that there are still some, I'm assuming, yellow poppies. So there seems to be, I'm assuming, I think those are poppies. They kind of look like poppies from here. So you can see that there is poppies out in this area, or whatever that yellow flower is. You can kind of see the Klamath way down there. You can definitely see that there's still a lot of clumps though in the dirt. It's all cracked. This is just down a little bit down the road. It's kind of showing you what the area is looking like now. A lot of dead, dry grass. You can definitely tell in which directions they did the helicopter. Those stripes that you see is when they went back and forth and seeded this area with the helicopter. As we're driving, we're kind of noticed, I don't know if the trees are already starting to turn to fall or if they're dying. It's kind of early in the year. But I'm starting to see a lot more that their leaves are turning red and orange. Here. Still see the thunderclouds are still building. That's kind of looking to the southeast. Don't really see much to the south. Not seeing much anymore to the west. Like I said, we've had thunderstorms, it seems like this whole last week, off and on in different areas. And that would be looking west. And that would be looking towards Mallard's Cove. Sorry, we're a little bumpy, so my voice is getting a little shaky. When you can look down in there, you can see, you'll still see everything's cracked. Pretty deep cracks. And that's looking towards the town of Copco and all the clouds that are still building. We'll see if we get some afternoon thunderstorms. So we're kind of driving around and you can see a lot of this is already starting to turn that pink and red and orange color. It's almost like fall, which is too early for fall because we're just July. But we're noticing that a lot and I'm not sure why everything's starting to turn so early. And this is a little drainage. This is dry. Not sure which creek or drainage this is, but so that would be looking up Mallard Cove. And that is the area where a lot of the trees are also dying. Definitely see them all over the hillside. So that is looking west. And that would be Mallard Cove. And that would be looking more towards the little town of Copco. Yeah. So we're coming closer to Copco. You can kind of see where the lake used to be, which is about where the line of the trees is.
Moving?
Yeah. So this is kind of the area. This was not part of the lake right here. The lake was farther down there. So this was like the grassy flat area above the lake. And that would be looking west. And there's some houses up in here. The lake was off above, like over in that direction. And it was down in there. You can keep going. So we're coming down the road. This would be where the lake used to be. Pause it. So this used to be part of the former lake bed. We're getting to the little town of Copco. Going through the trees. Like I said, you can see a lot of these trees are already starting to turn colors. They're starting to turn yellow, orange. I don't know if it's just from the lack of water or if they're starting to turn early for fall. I don't really know. But off in the distance, you can see where the lake used to be. There's some docks right here that aren't there anymore. So anyways, this is what it's looking like today. Off to my next stop.